What's going on? Live from Houston, Texas. It is a little after 12 p.m. and I'm here to share information. There's really a lot of things I need to share, but there's at least top three things that's I need to get off my chest because we received similar questions. Friends, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting, and today is what should I know before getting married for legal status? There's a lot to know. But we're gonna share one tip at a time, and I do see some comments, so I'll definitely answer them as soon as I can. The first thing you want to know, friends, is if you have a pending application. It could be for asylum application I-589, or maybe you have a possibility of filing a U visa application package for that, or maybe even through maybe you have H-1B and you need to renew it. You're considering, you're wondering, should you have the company um, sponsor you for residency? If you have any of those options, okay, this is a hot tip. Everything we're sharing with you is very important. If you're considering to get married, or let's say you have gotten married and it's someone that, obviously you're married, you want to spend the rest of your life with them, but you have to prepare for the worst. Okay. I don't know. Maybe because I'm a lawyer, I like to think of the worst case scenario, and maybe maybe my family members think I'm morbid, but in that sense, like, think about, last will and testament, things like that. So the same thing for immigration strategy. Okay. We're here to see if we can, solve your immigration problem in these videos, these live shows, or point you in the right direction. Okay. So the thing is, because if you, let's say you get divorced from that person, maybe that person's a resident, the sponsor's a resident or a US citizen, and maybe even your case has already been filed, and you're at the last stretch, and we've had calls like this. People say, we're not really together anymore. We're separated. Yeah, we live in the same house, same apartment, but not really together. What should I do? We have to ask, of course, more detailed questions. But at the end of the day, not this, of course, you have to tell the truth to the government. But the thing is, it has to be a real marriage. And what we look at is at the time of marriage, your actual wedding date. What was your intent? So if you intend for some reason to get into a fake marriage and apply for immigration benefit, aka residency status, and that's really the only reason you got married, then yes, USCIS officers can sniff that out. They're pretty good at that. I like to think that myself and our legal team are good about sniffing that out. Unfortunately, we can't help you. There's a lot of lawyers out there. If you need help, maybe they can help you. But for us, we can only accept the real marriages. Okay, but don't think that just because you're separated now and things are not looking too good, you're not having a good conversation, you might need to consider other scenarios. And maybe there hasn't been abuse. It can be physical or mental, emotional. I don't want to call it mental, but emotional abuse. There's a lot of things that go on that you might think that have happened that you might think it doesn't qualify for another option. So, and of course, if you have a lawyer for your joint case for marriage, um, you know, you might want to be careful sharing all information, but you have to get a new lawyer for that. So, for the if you had like a VAWA, a victim of a crime or victim of abuse situation. Unfortunately for us lawyers, when we have a represent both spouses or fiance, and there's information like that, we have to refer them to another lawyer who has a clean slate of history with you guys, basically. Okay, so we take that into consideration. It's very important. So what I'm trying to say is, for still talking about tip number one, if you have the opportunity to continue your current case, asylum, H-1B renewal, and then you want to file your company file for residency, keep that going, okay? And especially for the U visa, because first of all, there's an average 5-year waiting time just for the U visa itself, which lasts 3 years, by the way. And then you can apply for residency. But long story short, if you wait on that and you say, oh, because we get calls like this too, like, oh, I was a victim of a crime. I did report to police, but it was about 10 years ago. Probably can't do anything about that. We'll still contact, if you hire us, we'll still contact the local law enforcement agency. But at the end of the day, usually departments and law enforcement departments, they want their policy, internal policy is to only sign that form, the immigration form, we call U visa certification 918B. That has to be signed typically in 1 year or less. Every office is different, but 1 year less from the time that the incident occurred. So otherwise, because they probably get rid of files. I don't know how they do archiving, but they probably don't keep track very well. Not like I'm pretty sure you might agree, USCIS doesn't keep track very well either, unfortunately. So that was tip number one. Before I get to tip number two, I want to recognize that I do see some questions. So by the way, in the meantime, if you do have questions, please drop it in the comments. We'll get to that after tip number three. But I do want to share that we do have, if we can't, what we do when we have the free 15-minute consultation. I was trying to think what to say. We offer free 15-minute consultation with our legal team. Now, to access those free 15 minutes, we have a secret code to share with you towards the end of the show. So if you're new to our channel, you didn't know this before, but subscribe down below. And if you're a follower, appreciate it. Go ahead and smash the like button. It really helps our channel grow. And we share a lot of great content here, a lot of great tips that can hopefully prevent you from having a problem in the first place. Now, here's the deal. If when you call in, okay, our cares team will try their best to collect some information from you and schedule you for a consultation. Now, I know it sounds strange that I have to say that out loud to share with you, but we've had a couple people a little bit too entitled and said, I want to talk to John. I don't have time. Unfortunately, as you could probably imagine, I wish I was awake 24/7. I can't. There's a lot of people we would love to help. But in the meantime, if we can't help you and you refuse to share some information, then we can't help you. But in the meantime, we do have guides on our website. If you don't have time to talk with us right now, download the guide right now. Okay, greencardguides.com. We have a lot of different ones to share information about common questions and answers. And special, this is the most popular one. Mandamus guide. This is when there's unreasonable delays or the government has given you a decision, denial decision, which you believe is incorrect. Then, this is an option, a lawsuit against the government. So anyway, go to the website. We do have other ones that's not on the website. Otherwise, they'll get too messy. There's too many. There's a lot of guides. So anyways, tip number two. All right, that is if your sponsor, your spouse, is a resident and then later becomes a U.S. citizen, you need to file a new petition, because I know a lot of y'all have filed a petition already when the sponsor, your spouse, is a resident. And that's fine. But if you have entered America with a visa, you want to take advantage of the situation, the law, utilize the law for your benefit. If you file based on a resident and you have not maintained your status, okay, and maintaining your status means, let's say you enter America with a F1 student visa. It doesn't matter what visa you enter with, as long as you have some kind of valid visa currently while you're in the U.S. Now, most people, typically when they get married, very few have maintained their status. So with that being said, if your sponsor or spouse is a resident and is eligible to become a U.S. citizen, we highly recommend it. Now, here's specifically the reason why. There's a section, I believe it's Chapter 8 of the USCIS Policy Manual. Don't ask me why I can memorize that, because I look at it pretty much every day. But there's a list of grounds of inadmissibility that are waived automatically when you have a case filed by immediate relative. The immediate relative includes a spouse who's a U.S. citizen, or a parent who's a U.S. citizen and you're under 21. But if it's the scenario, you're likely over 21. And then Also, if so, here's the deal: you need to maintain your status. But when you're listening to this video, listening to these tips, you're probably already overstayed your visa if you did enter the visa. So that's why you need to encourage your spouse to become a U.S. citizen, of course, assuming they're eligible. Now, if your spouse obtained residency through a parent, oh, sorry, my cup's right next to this, um, through a parent when they were younger, or maybe through a prior spouse and then got divorced, then and it's not through marriage, then they have to wait 5 years total of being a resident in general. So if they had received a conditional resident status for 2 years, that's included of the 5 years. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. And you can file up to 90 days before the 5 year mark. Now, if you so typically that's in scenario 5 year wait. Now, if it's of course someone who's got status, sponsor got status through marriage, then a 3 year wait. But that scenario wouldn't make sense for this situation because hypothetically speaking, this would be a second or next marriage. Okay, so here's the deal. So these are kind of information. This kind of information we want to know when you call into our cares team when you first call in, and they want to verify that. So we can quickly provide you the legal strategy on the consultation. Because otherwise, back in the day when I didn't have it as smooth as a process, it'd be taking a long time back and forth. And then we figure out, okay, you have a case filed already. Okay, well, we need a receipt notice, things like that, approval notice. So please have those documents ready to share with our team so we can quickly provide you the solution, hopefully, if there is one. Now, so that was tip number 2. Have you maintained legal non-immigrant visa status or not? Again, because if you things like people are concerned about, you overstayed your visa or you've been working under the table without work permit, these are waived as long as it's a case through a U.S. citizen. Most common one is through a spouse who's a U.S. citizen. Okay, so you may have to wait a little longer if your current spouse is still a resident and needs to be eligible. That's what I recommend. Okay. Now, of course, speak with a lawyer to verify your own personal details, facts. Okay. Now, let's see. Tip. That's even in those 2 tips. There's a lot of mini tips within that. But tip number 3, okay, is that it's about hiring a lawyer. Okay. It's about maintaining the case with a lawyer. Now, this one really is not just about marriage cases. Okay. But you want to contact them. Okay. If you're thinking about, there's so much I need to say about this one topic right here. But if you're thinking about, let's say you have a fiance visa case already filed and you're, of course, frustrated with the wait times and the processing time with the government, you might want to consider getting married. Okay. And because you can do that remotely. I've talked about this before, I believe last week and previous weeks, that there's a way to get married remotely in the state of Utah. So we're happy to share more detailed information about that. Just text us up here, 720-740-4247. Of course, this is not specific advice for you specifically. This is just general advice, general information. So if you have a question to see if any of these tips can be helpful for you, please give us a call. We're happy to point you in the right direction. Okay. So update your lawyer if you have one that you're thinking about getting married or would getting married make your case faster. It just depends on the timing of your current case. Okay. It might make sense to get married, it might not. So it just depends. And then just a bonus tip right here, folks. By the way, if you have any questions, drop in the comments. I'm going to answer them as soon as I can after this bonus tip, the 4th tip. And that has to do more about hiring a lawyer. I just had a court hearing through WebEx video conference, and the client's out of Houston, and he was telling me, his court case originally was 2014, so he had a previous lawyer, and even though the lawyer back then was able to help him bond out of detention center and take care of his criminal cases, did great work. Was, most lawyers are really good about just taking the bull by its horns and just taking action on your case because something needs to happen quickly, right? But where I think, I can't speak for other lawyers, but it seems like based on the calls that we receive, that most lawyers have a difficult time, intentionally or not, difficult time to maintain your case file. And that means providing you updates, right? So we're also trying to improve. We're not perfect, but we're really trying to improve intentionally. We have a meeting pretty much every day. I have office hours with my team every day to just make sure, do we have any problems? Do we have anything I can provide solutions on? So we're really great. We have a really great team. I'm very fortunate. Um, but updating clients is important. So people ask us like, man, or tell us, I'm very frustrated with a lawyer. And, we can understand both sides. Okay. So that's why I've been very proactive in the past several years to provide updates to clients. And if I haven't provided you an update and you're a client, please, I welcome you to schedule. You can schedule on your own on our website, greencardguys.com. Click on contact us. And this is a good time to share with you how to do this. So here we go. If you're thinking about contacting us for the first time, go to contact us on top, take quiz, and then answer a few questions here. But this contact us page is the same spot where you can schedule an appointment. Okay. There's a box there, even though it's under the paid. I need to have my team separate it out. But we do have a box for current clients, and it's free. It's included with your plan. Depending on the plan you select, which, by the way, we have 3 different plans: Light, Pro, or Max. Depending on the plan, you can, if you have Max plan, you can have a meeting with us every week. I mean, I love to chit chat with you guys, but most people don't want to talk to a lawyer every week. But our point is that you can do that on your own. You don't even have to call in to say, can I talk with a lawyer? Can I schedule an appointment? You could do that on your own on our website. It's strange. Most lawyers are afraid of doing that because I think they're going to get, most lawyer. The thing that we're concerned about lawyers in general is that we get a lot of calls, and the way we resolve this is to have a more streamlined process so that y'all can schedule an appointment on your own. So it's less time on the phone for you as well, just to schedule. Okay. So very intentional in those benefits as a client. Because we had a client just messaged last week, and, they're wondering how to do that. So, that reminds me, I need to share that update on how to schedule with our clients as well. Okay, now to the comments. I hope those tips were helpful. Marlon, what's going on? Thank you so much for coming back on the show. And yeah, Ron, you got your team does great work as well. By the way, if you have if anyone's watching and need commercial real estate assistance and business assistance, contact this law firm right here, Ronald Rode Law. You Google search that and you can find his information. Yes, sir. We're trying to help anyone we can in a efficient process. Share information. What's the average cost to file mandamus? Give us a call, Marlon, or text us, and we'll be in touch. What we want to do, we have 3 different plans, so it just depends on timing, how soon you want to file that lawsuit. We have a max plan. We can file it in 72 hours because we understand you've been waiting a long time already. And then pro plan is 7 business days. Okay, that my business manager prepared. And so it's a range between usually, I don't think I'm allowed to share fees on the internet, actually. So, but yeah, contact us. Okay, Marlon, happy to see if way we can help you. You're welcome, Marlon. Okay, I remember why that I had signed off last Friday, and you had a question about reform, and I'll see if I can answer that in a second. But your question today is, do USCIS interviewers usually ask why you overstayed your visa? Probably the more ruthless ones, but not all of them do. Okay, I remember when someone told me that they had shared like, "Oh, how did you meet?" type of question. It just yeah, it got approved, but you know that's what we prepare our clients for. And these kind of questions that seem, you know, like harmless, but depending how much you share with them, you might share too much, and it might not be necessary to share that much information. So that's why, and part of our pro and max plan for these type of cases that involve an interview, we prepare you for the interview. Okay, you just want to ask, you want to share just the right amount of information. Don't like overflow, like it's your best friend, something like that. Let's see here. Oh, but why you did? Oh, that's not cool. Chicken 3 is not cool. We need to. Okay, I just blocked his messages. I don't know if I don't know if he can come back on. Okay, well that was inappropriate. He said inappropriate word on the comment section. But why? Back to you. Your question about reform last week. Do I believe the registry will change? No, unfortunately. So if you're watching other lawyers out there and they're sharing wrong information, um, we just don't know. Congress is. That's why I believe. That's why I talk about prosecutorial discretion a lot. It's been on and off, but it's back on right now in Houston, at least. And the reason I share about that because it's more expansive than when President Obama had it. Okay, and of course, with President Trump, it was more restrictive. So prosecutorial discretion means essentially that the just like as if it was a criminal case where you have district attorneys, they have discretion to remove the charge. Okay, so in this situation for immigration, it's somewhat similar that they can agree to dismiss your case. Of course, they don't have all the power in the world. They're not the judge. At the end of the day, the judge makes that decision. But it's infinitely stronger if the government, Department of Homeland Security, will agree to it. I know it's strange that I say government and the judge, of course, works for the government. It's just at the end of the day, so much. It's just different levels. Okay, the judges work are authorized under the Department of Justice. Um, and the attorney general. So it's a bit complicated legally, I believe. Absolutely. Well, I have really weird memory, and I felt bad. I had just hit in the broadcast right when I saw your question. So hope, yeah, I mean, hopefully, and friends, that's why elections are important. Voting matters. Your vote counts. So of course, only this is a good PSA, by the way. If you are not a U.S. citizen, do not vote. Okay. I've had clients that, when they, before they hired us, they went to the Department Motor Vehicle or DPS to renew their driver license, and they were able to get, renew the license. And the clerk asked him, "Would you like to register a vote?" And of course, he didn't. Maybe I don't want to say of course, but like I would think that most people know that you cannot vote if you're not a U.S. citizen. But if technically a government official, a government employee is asking if you want to register, I can understand why he or she thought that they could, because why would a government employee offer that otherwise? But that's why immigration law is federal law. Do not depend on these local employees to suggest something. If you're wondering, and talk to a lawyer, okay? Because it has significant, serious consequences if you register to vote and take even further action to vote. Okay, so and of course, this is the conservative parties. One of their concern, are like, oh, the election's rigged. I mean, I highly doubt that. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But let me know in the comment section. Do you think elections are real or rigged? I'd be really interested to know because I know in some countries, at least American perspective, we're a little concerned about that. But it'd be really good to know if people in America think that elections are rigged. If that's the case, we need to do more education. Of course, I do not work for the government, so I have no control in that sharing information. But please, excuse my voice. I'm a little still under the weather. If you are a U.S. citizen and have not voted yet, please consider doing that tomorrow. Whether you're red or blue or in the middle, libertarian, independent, to me, it doesn't matter. Just go vote, okay? Because otherwise, um, it's really harder for you to complain if you didn't vote. Wouldn't you think? I have some family members that don't vote. my in-laws, and they complain a lot. You gotta vote then. I know, I get it. Maybe you think your vote doesn't matter, but I think more so a lot of people vote in the presidential election and forget to do that for the midterms. So that's tomorrow. Even I usually try to vote early, like 2 weeks ago, but with kids being sick, I'm sick and working working on your case, going live show. Yeah, I see Wise comment. You're worried about buying the jackpot today. Yeah, you might want to do that. Then you don't have to worry about which lawyer to hire. That's for sure. And get that legal status. Okay, that's funny. I might need to get a ticket too. Then I can set up a whole studio back here. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Oligarchy. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the background, even in a democratic country that we don't know. There's definitely a lot of puppet masters out there that are not the president. That goes for any, and one of that is called lobbyist. If you're not familiar with lobbyists, you might want to do some research on your own. We try to provide even though we don't cover news like this, we try to provide, we not just try, we do provide accurate information. Okay. If for some reason you believe we don't provide accurate information, please contact us. And maybe a new policy just came out that weren't able to find before. So we're always open to updating our information. And anyways, I hope you value that from our channel. And if you do, please subscribe and smash the like button and share the channel with your friends and family who you think might have a legal question. Let's see here. Yeah, elections are like a racehorse sport for sure, especially when there's no limit to financial contribution to campaigns, and it makes it really, really puts people who really care about people at a disadvantage because maybe they have a job right now and don't have time to go fundraise and do the smoozing and shake hands to get donations. And I think it's unfortunately just a popularity contest, like in school. Whoever's more popular will get it. And so I don't know. President Trump thought he's really popular, but not that many people showed up to the inauguration. I was at President Obama's inauguration. It was pretty cool. It was jam packed. It was definitely history in the making for sure. Was he the greatest president? That's up to you to decide. Okay. Anyways, no, we're just chit chatting now. Oh, I'm sorry, NEK Chambers. NEK Chambers. What if you were F3 category and you get divorced? What would happen? Okay. It should still continue. Okay. I'll have to check because there's a table here on the Department of State website. We call it the state manual, basically. And depending on the scenario, let me see if I can pull it up right now. I hope I can. Fam state. Family preference. And I'll see if I can drop it in the comment section for y'all, okay? Let me see if I can find it. It just show because it doesn't automatically convert to a different category all the time. So that's why I think that's important to share. Okay, let me drop it in the comment section. I believe it's this webpage. We're nearing towards the end, so I'm going to go ahead and share the secret code with y'all folks before I forget. If you're new to the channel, then you wouldn't know this, but we do offer free 15-minute consultation. Share the secret code with our cares team, and they'll see if they can schedule you for an appointment. We're getting pretty booked out, I believe, at least 2 weeks out. So they'll see if they can, if someone doesn't want to chat with us anymore. I don't understand why someone wouldn't want to chat with us. We do have a couple no-shows. So by the way, if you do schedule with us and you just can't make it, text us back. Our team sends text reminders as well. So it's just a considerate thing to do because we reserve these for free for people. So I greatly appreciate it. We understand things happen in life. You got to do something else like vote if you're a U.S. citizen. So let's see. Let's see. Let me, Anna K. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, so automatic conversion. Okay, petitions. Okay, you said you're F3. It appears right now that only F3 if it would convert to F1 if you're let's see here. If you're of the spouse, yep. Yeah, if you have become widowed or divorced, automatically converts to F1. Okay. So hopefully that's a good thing for you. The priority date remains the same, so you don't have to file a new petition or anything like that. Um, so hopefully that helps. And okay, hopefully you're still on. Sorry, I noticed that you're the first commenter. Appreciate it. Let me see if I can pull up the visa bulletin. But Miss Anna K, if you can tell us if you're still on, tell us which country of nationality you are. Then I can look up the visa bulletin for you. Okay, well, let me share my screen, just assuming something. I like to share this, folks, the visa bulletin all the time if I can, because you've waited so many years for this petition to go through. The wait time is, some people that call us, they miss it, okay, because there's a 1 year, essentially like a 1 year deadline for you to take action after your prior date reaches. Okay, so if you go down here, as you can see here, F3 when they're married, then goes automatically to F1. All right, so skipping the chart B first. So let's say Anna K was not a Chinese national, Indian, or Mexican or Filipino national, or Filipina. Then let's just say all the countries, it was 2009 now, and then you bumped up to 2016. Okay, so that could be a good or bad thing, because that's such a significant jump that hopefully it did not pass your prior date. But so that's still a reason to fight. When I say fight, I mean on paper, on email, argue that I'm a peacemaker. So this is an opportunity to argue to the government legally, a legal argument to say that your prior date still retained. So yeah, and then you might have to explain to them when you got divorced, things like that, and maybe that's why. Hopefully, it's not past the 1 year mark for you, but in that sense. But then you'll definitely have to explain when you got divorced, so maybe they can be more understanding to revive your case at the NVC stage. Okay, so yeah, that's a significant jump. That's across the board for most countries, except for Mexico. It's only about a difference of about a year and a half. Okay. So, anyways, all right, folks, I appreciate it. I don't see any other comments. My plan is to go live every day. Hopefully tomorrow. I still need a vote tomorrow. Tomorrow's election day, if you did not catch that earlier. So until next time, friends. Oh, do want to share with you, we do have a Facebook group. Please join. Please be part of the community and share information in terms of like your timing the file, things like that. And I know people share about like biometrics, approval notice, because everyone's wondering how long it takes for a certain country, especially, or a certain service center to get it done, to get it approved. All right. So we have that on Facebook. I know not everyone likes Facebook these days, but please join the group. And then we're on TikTok. I know not everyone wants to get addicted to TikTok, and I really didn't want to join myself. But if you have an account already, if you're already addicted, please give it a follow. I appreciate it. Green Card Guys _John. And we just another place to share information, tips for you guys. Okay, friends. Until next time, please.